Cops target black family on vacation, unaware their father is an FBI agent. Where are you watching from? Type your city in the comments. You might just get a shout-out in the next video. Hit like and subscribe for some good luck today. The ocean breeze carried laughter across the boardwalk. The Johnson family had been waiting for this trip all year. After months of long hours, late nights, and a stack of case files thicker than a phone book, Marcus Johnson, husband, father, and quietly one of the FBI's top agents, finally promised his wife and kids a weekend getaway. To the world, he was just another dad in khaki shorts, carrying a cooler under one arm and his son's inflatable shark under the other. To his wife Danielle, he was her rock, stern when needed, soft when it mattered. To his two kids, Jaden and Layla, he was simply Dad, the one who made up stories at bedtime and taught them how to ride their bikes. But that peace, that fragile bubble of normalcy, was about to shatter. Because in this quiet coastal town, not everyone welcomed the sight of a black family walking the pier with joy painted across their faces. Some saw trouble where there was none. And others, those sworn to protect, were about to make the worst mistake of their careers. The day started simple. Ice cream cones melting too fast. Sand castles toppling over. Jaden racing his sister down the shoreline. Then, as the sun dipped lower, the Johnsons headed toward their parked SUV, tucked neatly near the boardwalk entrance. Marcus reached into his pocket for the keys when he noticed it. 3 officers. Standing across the lot. Watching. At first, he thought little of it. He had trained enough cops in his career to know the stance of idle patrol. But then, one of them spoke into his radio, eyes locked on Marcus's family. The other 2 began walking closer. Marcus, Danielle's voice wavered. Why are they staring at us like that? Stay calm, Marcus whispered, his instincts kicking in like a switch. Stay close to me. The crunch of boots on gravel grew louder. A flashlight beam flicked on, though the sky was still lit with the glow of sunset. Evening, the first officer said, hand already hovering near his holster. This your vehicle? Yes, officer, Marcus replied evenly, raising his keys slightly. Just here on vacation with my family. Mind showing proof of ownership? Marcus's brow furrowed. Excuse me. You heard me, the officer said, stepping closer. Registration. License. Now. Before Marcus could respond, another officer circled toward Danielle, who instinctively pulled the kids closer. Sir, there's no need to approach my wife, Marcus said, his tone sharp now. She's with me. The officer smirked. Just making sure everyone's safe. But his hand brushed the strap of Danielle's bag. Jaden's small voice broke the tension. Mom, why are they being mean? Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd seen this before. He'd read reports about it, trained officers against it, reprimanded agents for it. But now it was his children standing wide-eyed in the crosshairs of prejudice. Officers, Marcus said firmly, his voice calm but edged with authority. This is unnecessary. We've done nothing wrong. Don't tell us what's necessary, the first officer snapped. We got a report of suspicious activity. Family matching your description. Suspicious. The word echoed. Suspicious for walking with sand on their shoes and smiles on their faces. Suspicious because of the color of their skin. Danielle clutched her daughter. Marcus. He placed a hand on her arm, steadying her. Then he reached slowly into his pocket, ignoring the twitch of the nearest officer's trigger finger. Easy, Marcus said. I'm reaching for my wallet. Nothing else. He pulled it out, flipping it open, not to his driver's license, but to the golden badge that gleamed even under the fading light. The officers froze. Special Agent Marcus Johnson, FBI. His voice cut like steel. And unless you have a warrant or actual probable cause, you are harassing a federal officer and his family. The color drained from their faces. The one with the flashlight stuttered. We didn't know. Of course you didn't, Marcus shot back. You didn't care to know. You saw a black family near a nice car and decided it must be stolen. The silence that followed was deafening. The only sound was the crash of waves in the distance and the shaky breath of Marcus's children, still clinging to their mother. But Marcus wasn't done. His years in the bureau had taught him that accountability only came when forced into the light. "Give me your badge numbers. All of you." "Sir, we—" "No," Marcus barked, his voice commanding the weight of his authority. Reluctantly, they complied, scribbling numbers on a notepad with trembling hands. "You just traumatized 2 children. You disrespected my wife. And you violated the oath you swore to uphold. I will be filing a report. And believe me, your chief will hear about this before sunrise." The youngest officer, barely out of academy age, muttered, "We were just doing our job." Marcus stepped closer, his eyes burning into the young man's. "Your job is to serve and protect, not profile and intimidate. One day, you'll realize the difference. I hope it's before you ruin another innocent life." He turned back to his family, placing a steady hand on his son's shoulder. "Let's go." As they drove off, Danielle wiped silent tears. Jaden stared at his father with a mix of fear and admiration. "Dad, were they gonna hurt us?" Marcus swallowed hard. He wanted to tell his son no, that everything was fine, that the world was fair. But he couldn't. He wouldn't lie. "They were wrong," he said finally. "And sometimes, people in power forget what it means to do the right thing. But remember this, never let anyone make you feel less than who you are. You stand tall. Always." The SUV disappeared into the night, leaving behind 3 shaken officers, their arrogance stripped bare. The next morning, internal affairs descended on the precinct. By noon, suspension papers were served. By evening, every officer in that town had heard the story of the family they wrongly targeted, the family whose father carried more authority than they could ever imagine. And the Johnsons? They spent the rest of their vacation quietly, cherishing every laugh, every hug, every shared moment. Because they knew the world outside wasn't always kind. But within their circle of love, strength was unshakable. And Marcus Johnson, FBI agent, husband, father, knew one thing for certain: prejudice may wear a uniform, but justice wears patience. The moral: never judge by skin. Never assume by sight. Because the person you target unfairly might just be the one holding you accountable in the end.